Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your WWE Fastlane pay-per-view results. Also pre-show. And I do like to give a shout out to Robert. Thanks for letting me watch it on your brother's network account. WWE Fastlane 2016 took place on February 21st at the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. Hometown of The Miz and maybe another wrestler or two. Michael Colesaw announced that there are 14,446 in attendance. Fastlane pre-show had Kalisto defeating Alberto Del Rio. After brawling both inside and outside the ring, Kalisto jumped off the fan barrier at ringside towards Del Rio, but Del Rio smacked Kalisto out of midair with a steel chair, which secures the first fall of the 2 out of 3 falls match for Kalisto by disqualification. Back inside the ring, Del Rio worked quickly and hits a stomp on Kalisto for the 1, 2, 3 and the first fall of the match. So it's now 1-1. Del Rio kept control and took Kalisto to the corner, trying to remove his mask. Del Rio took Kalisto to the outside and hits some offense before rolling back in the ring and leaving him out there. Kalisto got back in the ring and the referee's count, 9 count, as Del Rio once again turns Kalisto upside down in the tree of woe. Del Rio missed the stomp, and Kalisto dropped Del Rio into the turnbuckle and rolled him up for the 3 count and the win. Well, my first encounter with a WWE Network, it did buffer, it did pixelize, and it did freeze, but it went back to where it froze at, and then later on, within 10-20 seconds, it did fast forward itself back to your live feed. And yes, it did buffer quite a bit during the match. I went in the kitchen and fixed us some queso. His girlfriend was here, spent some time with us to watch some of it, and then she left after getting full. Okay, next you got the first match for the pay-per-view. Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch defeating Tamina, Snuka, and Naomi. Second annual Fastlane broadcast was started with a Divas tag team action. The match started and Sasha and Becky are already arguing with each other. They eventually start working together and hit a double drop kick on Tamina. Naomi got a tag and hit a series of kicks on Becky. Becky come back in with a suplex that sent Tamina to the outside. All 4 women start fighting at ringside. Back inside the ring, Becky laid out both Tamina and Naomi with a missile drop kick off the top rope. Tamina missed a clothesline and Sasha dropped her into the bank statement. Naomi ran in, but Becky stopped her and applied to disarm her at the same time. Both members of Team Bad tapped out. Okay, well, Kevin Owens and versus Dolph Ziggler was up next. They lock up, and Owens took control with a quick headbutt. They dropped Ziggler. Owens missed a splash in the corner, and Ziggler mounted to come back with 2 big splashes of his own. Ziggler with right hands, elbows, and a neck breaker for a close 2 count. Ziggler went up top, but Owens dropped him and crushed him, and then nailed a cannonball for a close 2 count. Owens took the action to the outside and tried to powerbomb Ziggler onto the floor, but Ziggler reversed a Hurricane Rana. Owens into the steel steps. Back inside the ring, Ziggler hit a famouser for a 2 count of his own. Ziggler attempted the sweet chin music, but Owens avoided it, throwing him off the ropes. Hot shot and hit the pop-up powerbomb off of that for the 1, 2, 3. Big Show and Ryback are in the back talking about the Wyatt family. They are eventually joined in by Kane, who says that they will send the Wyatts straight back to hell. A video package aired showing the history between the Wyatts, Big Show, and Kane and Ryback. Okay, Ryback and Rowan are in first. Ryback getting the majority of the offense and hitting a drop kick for a 1 count. He tagged in Big Show, who starts laying into Rowan with chops in the corner. Ryback tags back in, but eats an elbow from Rowan before Braun got the tag. Braun took control of the match with elbows and slams until Rowan got tagged back in. Rowan attempted a suplex on Ryback, but Ryback blocked, hits one of his own. Kane got the tag and laid out Rowan with a DDT. And then a drop kick for a 2 count. They brawled on the outside in front of Bray, who was sitting in a chair in front of the announcer table. Back inside the ring, Harper and Ryback get the tags. Ryback hits several flying knees to the face on Harper in the corner. Ryback hits a few running power slams, then he goes for the pinfall. But Rowan broke up the pinfall. Kane comes in and choke slams Rowan. Harper runs in, but Show gorilla press slams Harper to the outside and onto his teammates. Show goes to ringside and spears Braun. Bray runs in on Ryback, but Kane lays him out. Ryback hits the shell shock on the distractor Harper for the win. Next up, another Divas match, Bray versus Charlotte. Ric Flair was out with Charlotte. 2 competitors go back and forth in the opening moment until Bray laid Charlotte out and imitates her father's strut and move. Charlotte came back and throws Bray to the outside, then mocks Daniel Bryan's yes motion. Before saying, "Where's your sister now?" Back inside the ring, Charlotte goes for an Alabama slam, but Bray reverses it into a sunset flip for a 2 count. The trade submission holds for several minutes. Charlotte missed a big boot, and Bray came back with some strikes for a 2 count. Bray hits a drop kick off the top rope and starts selling a leg injury. She hits multiple kicks on Charlotte, then an X Factor for a 2 count. Charlotte comes back and goes for the figure 4 into the figure 8. But Bray got out and eventually locked her in a single leg Boston Crab. Charlotte got out and locked Bray into the figure 8 for the win. As Bray tapped out. And we see a video package about AJ Styles' WWE debut, including clips from him in WCW. Backstage, Chris Jericho walks and talks about his 2 previous matches with AJ, and match number 3 being the rubber match. So we get AJ versus Jericho. The trade holds early on until Jericho rolls to the outside to avoid the calf crusher. The crowd is dueling AJ Styles and Y2J chants. Back inside the ring, Styles reverses an attempted wall to Jericho with a Hurricane Runner. AJ followed up with a knee drop for a 2 count. Jericho then went up top and came off with a punch in the face of AJ. AJ got up and answers with a drop kick. AJ took control of the match until Jericho sends him to the outside after a back body drop and a clothesline. Jericho then throws him into the fan barrier, then takes things back inside the ring for a crossbody block off the top rope for a 2 count. Jericho missed a splash in the corner and falls to the outside. Styles attempted a dive over the top to the outside, but Jericho catches him with a kick. Jericho hits a splash over the top on Styles for a 2 count. Styles comes back with a clothesline and a forearm strike. I call it 5-arm. Forearm. Flying forearm. 5-arm. Styles hits his patented springboard moonsault into a DDT, although they didn't quite execute it perfectly. Styles missed a drop kick, and then Jericho hits a lion's salt for a 2 count. Jericho goes for a superplex, but AJ gets out of it. He goes to the apron to springboard off the top rope, but Jericho catches him in midair with a springboard dropkick. Styles then sets up Jericho on the turnbuckle. Jericho slaps him in the face. AJ enters him with a Pele kick. He goes for the Hurricane off the top, but Jericho reverses it into a powerbomb and then applies the wall to Jericho. Styles reaches the ropes, so Jericho throws him to the outside. He locks the Lion Tamer in on AJ outside the ring at ringside, then rolls back inside the ring before a 10 count. Styles climbs back in himself and walks right into a crow breaker, but reaches the ropes to break the pin. Jericho wastes some time and calls Styles a stupid son of a bitch, but receives some censorship on the WWE Network broadcast. But you can read his lips. Styles came back and hits the Styles Clash, but Jericho kicked out. Styles locks in the calf crusher, and Jericho taps out. AJ celebrating his victory inside the ring, and then all of a sudden confronted by Chris Jericho. They end up shaking hands, and Jericho walks to the back while Styles' music plays. Edge and Christian are out to the ring next for an interview with the New Day, who are not in tag team action on the pay-per-view. New Day comes out and mixes it up with E and C before they start cutting a promo on the League of Nations. This brings out Sheamus, Rusev, and Del Rio, and Barrett. New Day heads to the back, and League starts talking trash to Edge and Christian. E and C tell them that the ring is all theirs, and they head to the back. They dance with the New Day on the ramp and tell people to watch their show after Fastlane on the WWE Network. Well, we watched about 10-15 minutes of it. It was pretty decent. R-Truth versus Curtis Axel was up next, with all the members of the Social Outcasts in Curtis Axel's corner. They trade offense until the Social Outcast members get involved and give Axel the advantage. Goldust slowly walks down to the ring and trips Curtis Axel. With both referee and R-Truth are distracted, Goldust lays out members of the Outcast at ringside, but Goldust throws Adam Rose into the ring, which distracts the Truth and allows Axel to roll him up for the quick pin. Goldust then apologizes to Truth inside the ring after the match, and Truth walks to the back, leaving Goldust alone in the ring. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, your main event of the pay-per-view. As soon as the bell rings, Lesnar beats down on Ambrose in the corner until Ambrose climbs out of the ring. He hits Reigns with 2 German suplexes and lays out Dean Ambrose with a clothesline. Ambrose hits a missile drop kick off the top to the back of Lesnar. When Lesnar is preoccupied with Reigns, Ambrose attempts a German suplex of his own on Lesnar, but it doesn't work. Lesnar tosses him with a belly-to-belly suplex. Welcome to Suplex City. Reigns pulls Lesnar to the outside. Ambrose attempts a suicide dive on Lesnar, but Brock catches him with a belly-to-belly suplex on the ringside floor. Backs inside the ring. He continues the trip to Suplex City on Reigns. Lesnar nails an F5 on Reigns, but Ambrose breaks up the pinfall. Ambrose slaps Lesnar in the face, which earns him some knees to the face and several German suplexes from the former UFC heavyweight champion. He goes for the F5 on Ambrose, but Reigns hits Lesnar with a spear for the 2 count. He hits a Superman punch on Lesnar, and then Lesnar rolls to the outside. Lesnar goes to F5 Reigns through an announce table, but Ambrose makes a save with a legal low blow. They remove the monitors from the Spanish announce table and powerbomb Lesnar through it. Ambrose lays out Reigns and throws him inside the ring. Ambrose hits a bulldog and a flying clothesline on Reigns for a 2 count. Ambrose and Reigns brawl inside the ring until they notice Brock Lesnar getting back up and decide to double team him. Ambrose starts stripping the English announce table, and they both powerbomb him through that one too. Then they start burying Lesnar in broken table parts. They go back to fighting each other inside the ring. Reigns nails a Superman punch on Ambrose, but misses the spear. Ambrose hits dirty deeds for a 2 count. Reigns lifts Ambrose up onto his shoulders. Then out of nowhere, Brock Lesnar runs in. After Paul Heyman goes over there to move some of the tables, or table pieces, and hits a German suplex on Reigns while Ambrose is still on his shoulders. All 3 go down, which sends all 3 men flying. Reigns comes back with a spear on Lesnar, but Lesnar quickly puts Reigns in a Chimera lock. Ambrose brings in a steel chair from the outside and starts pummeling Lesnar with it. Then gives Reigns a few chair shots for good measure. Lesnar then rolls out of the ring, and Reigns hits a spear on Dean Ambrose for the 3 count. Reigns celebrates in the ring as fireworks go off. Triple H music hits, and the game walks down to the ring in a suit with his title belt. They stare each other down in the ring and look up at the WrestleMania sign on the ceiling. And that concludes my results for the pay-per-view. So Roman Reigns goes on to WrestleMania to face Triple H until they change the stipulation as they go. Well, that's just my guess. Well, thanks again. See you one on being. Peace out. And if you don't know, better comment, brothers and sisters.